Well, everybody's division is bad. So why not take advantage of the reps to try to get ahead right now? And as opposed to playing catch up.
Yeah.
It's wide open right now.
No, I agree.
And you need reps. You need to play. You need to get the timing right in order for you to be successful, man. I know I'm talking like an old timer, but there's nothing like going out there and building that camaraderie, everybody playing in concert, going in hot, understanding that you put it into work to be successful.
All right, let me just play devil's advocate here and say that.
Foremost. Now, this does impact us, and we've been talking about it extensively. Barring a setback, Carson Wentz is going to start week 1. So
good news.
Yes, definitely good news. On the same time, we also have whatever's going to happen with the Eagles this Friday night, and I have a strong inkling that Jalen Hurts is not going to play a snap.
I think different.
Do you? Well, look.
Really?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I want him to play.
So do I.
Sirianni I think they're going to maximize these joint practices, and that's going to be enough for Nick.
Yeah, I kind of side with Eitan on this, unfortunately, but I do want him to play. But I think, Sirianni was on record yesterday as saying they're basically going to follow the same blueprint for the joint practices that they did last week. And that, said, we're going to try to go out and attack the practices and then forget about the game.
Right.
So
that's BS, man.
I agree. I agree.
Barrett, we're going to break real quick. So let's get, I'm curious to see where and why you have this pathway to playing time, because I think that will make everybody happy. We're back in 3 on the network. It's the middle. All right. So why do you think he's going to play? Because I think this would be amazing if he does.
He almost has to. He has to get that timing correct,
right.
Man. They can't afford to lose out on any wasted reps. They can't, because going into this season, they have to win every game, man. They can't afford to, because their schedule's too hard for them to think that they can just blow over a team like the Atlanta Falcons. At this point, they're just as bad as they are. And I'm sitting back, talking and thinking about what we were talking about yesterday and watching, everybody in this division. Well, everybody's division is bad. So why not take advantage of the reps to try to get ahead right now? And as opposed to playing catch up.
Yeah.
It's wide open right now.
No, I agree.
And you need reps. You need to play. You need to get the timing right in order for you to be successful, man. I know I'm talking like an old timer, but there's nothing like going out there and building that camaraderie, everybody playing in concert, going in hot, understanding that you put it into work to be successful.
All right, let me just play devil's advocate here and say that, well, they are doing that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in these live sessions against the opponent. So the actual preseason game, they've already essentially maybe played 2 or 3 games during the week.
Yeah, but here's the difference.
To be honest, guys, and I'm just keeping it 100. To be honest, you cannot simulate, even in practice with these joint practices, game speed. It gets ramped up every segment of the season you go to. From the preseason, from when you report to camp to going into the preseason, it amps up 20%.
Right.
Going from there to going into the season, it's going to amp up another 20%. Then when you get towards the end of the season, when it's time to get ready for playoff football and you're trying to qualify for the playoffs, it amps up another 20%. They're not good enough to think that they can go out and just whoop somebody, period, point blank.
No, and look, they've negotiated in the CBA, no tackling to the ground, and on a lot of the tempo. Think about it, Barrett, and just put yourself in your own situation. I know preseason was a little different back then, but you're not blocking to the whistle as much. You know that if you're on the left side of the line and everything's going right, you got your guy in a joint practice. All right, man, we're good. You can't say that to somebody on the other side in the third quarter when it's a 3-point game. Hey man, we're good on this.
Let's just dance over here.
Right, imagine
no brother-in-law going on.
Right?
You're right. There's no brother-in-law going on.
No,
now, you're going to get some intensity in these practices because you're playing against somebody else.
Right.
But it still doesn't change the fact that you got to have game type of situations that only come from being in the game.
Did you guys see? We're back, but. Did you guys see any of the? I mean, I had underplays last night, so I watched that entire game. But I cannot believe. Thankfully, I hit the live under to just break even because there's no way that game should have gone over. I got Philly Godfather in my mentions laughing at me.
Yeah,
but we broke even.
Here's Eitan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry May.
All right, so just to put Barrett's point into real life motion, if anybody watched that game last night in the second half, there was the Gardner Minshew, and I don't even know who the quarterback was at the end for Jacksonville. It might have been Minshew. It might have been somebody else. I honestly, it was on mute, and I was just following the game cast, but watching it. And Urban Meyer, just because he is Urban Meyer, and he's just a pain in the ass, and he's going to be out of the league in a year and a half. You can come back to me if I'm wrong. But he was proving that, like, he was sending a message, right? Like, oh, we're going to win this game. We're going to come, We're going to claw back and fight and win this game.
It was C.J. Beathard.
Beathard, thank you.
C.J. Beathard, yeah.
Who played minutes last year for the Niners.
For the Niners, yeah.
Because everybody was hurt. So Beathard, he's dropping Beathard back at the end of a fourth quarter, trying to move the ball. So, and I got to give credit to the Saints. This kid, Wynton McManus, CFL converted linebacker now in the NFL, all over the place. I think he picked off Minshew in the end zone or Beathard, one of the two. They kept sending guys. Like, this kid Beathard was getting put on his ass. It was almost like Peyton was like, hey, man, if you keep dropping your quarterback back, we're going to keep sending guys. This wasn't like a four-man rush, 3 steps in, all right, we're good. Like you get at practice a lot. This was, hey, man, this guy's dropping back, and the Saints are rushing. The Saints are putting pressure and hitting him. And that was a fundamental difference that you'll never get in practice, ever.
Exactly. And that's what you get, man. If you notice, the teams that are successful, say what you want to say about Belichick from last year. Okay, he had a down year because he didn't have any talent. But you look at their game plan. They were still blitzing against the Eagles, and they were beating up on them. They were up like 30-some points on them, and they're still blitzing.
Right.
He went about going about his business, and that's when even when he had the best quarterback in the league, when he had TB there, he would still play him in all 4 games. Now, what makes you think Jalen Hurts is on the level of Tom Brady that he doesn't play every single preseason game? I don't understand it.
Yeah, I know.
If the best can do it, why didn't you? That's crazy, man.
Andy Reid treated it differently.
Right, exactly.
He missed last game.
Well, so did all the starters off
he was
the
in the
line.
hospital.
That's what I mean. Like, how much has Hurts actually played? 2 series?
I don't know.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and this offensive line has not played together as a whole yet.
Yes.
They have not played together as a whole.
Right.
So they need to get those game reps, and why not have the quarterback out there that's going to be playing the game to get those reps? Oh, how about we put in the rookie again, let him go out there and show his ability to go out there and run routes and create separation and maybe deliver him a couple balls. Let's get Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz back into the game, get them ready. So this offense goes in, ready to rock and roll, man. As opposed to going in, all right, we may be all right.
Right.
I want to see what they can bring to the table.
Yeah.
Because what I saw was BS last week.
I'm with you, Barrett. I want to see it too, but the bottom line is they don't care what we want to see.
Exactly.
They do it their way.
That's why they'll be losers if they do it. If they go about that, they will be losers this year.
I mean, certain organizations just have a totally different mindset towards the preseason. Look at the Ravens, for example. They've won 19 straight preseason games. They're going for 20 this week.
Right. Think
about that.
And look how successful they are.
Right.
Big Ben played last week.
I know. Played well.
Right.
Look at the
couple series
we talked about that didn't play their starter, and we were like, what the hell are you doing? And Daniel Jones. I mean, I'm assuming he's healthy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, look at decisions of guys who aren't playing. We saw Tom Brady, even if it's for a series or what have you. Ben Roethlisberger, as you mentioned. So
Stratford's he didn't play this he's not playing this preseason. But that's the philosophy they have with the Rams.
Yeah,
that's a defensive-minded team.
Exactly, and it's going to take. Look, that's going to take a little bit. I think people are looking at numbers from Stafford and saying, "Oh, this guy throws 5K plus, and he's just going to walk in and everything's going to be normal there." No, he's going to have to make throws in games that he's never played in before.
Exactly. This doesn't make sense to me.
Patrick Mahomes played last week.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's arguably
Exactly
the number one guy at the position.
So this doesn't,
Yeah.
In order for this team to be okay, this is going to show me a lot on the mindset of them going into this game. If they don't play, I can honestly say they're not going to be ready to win. And that's going to be, hard for me to go about, picking them to be a successful team again. I have to totally revamp my way of thinking if they go into this game and not play Jalen Hurts in the starting offensive line, because they will be ill prepared going into this game if they don't.
Look,
you can't simulate the game speed unless you're in a game. Period. Not even in these joint practices. Say what they want to say.
Yeah.
In these joint practices, the quarterbacks have red jerseys on. That means you can't touch them. So he's not getting the same speed as in the game. You can't touch him.
No, and you know that the guy coming right at you is not going to hit you.
Right. So you go try to complete a pass.
Right. I mean, look, Jameis Winston got clobbered on that second big play that he threw last night, that 29-yard touch. But I got to be honest, man, I was really impressed with those two throws from Jameis Winston. And I don't know what Sean Payton is doing, even flirting with that tight end converted to quarterback.
No, he won the job last night if he didn't already have it. Yes.
Now, with that said, major contact, like that play is what I want Jalen Hurts to go through tonight. Drop back, make a big throw to Devontae Smith with the contact coming, take it, hit, go to the ground, hear the crowd roar, jump up and celebrate. Like, you're never going to get that in practice. The threat, right? That threat of contact, not even the contact so much, Barrett and Harry, but the threat of it.
Right, but you can't protect a player from getting hurt going into the season. You really can't, because you're not going to have him ready if you try to go out there and do that. Either you're going to play or you're not, man. And, if they keep him out this game, it's really going to hurt him going into the season. It just is. They have 2 weeks to get healthy for the first game. What is it, 16 days?
16 days between.
16 freaking days. Come on, man. 16 days you can get healthy. But he needs to play. He really does. I was a proponent of not playing him. I was like, you know what? We have a veteran quarterback in Carson. We didn't need to play Carson last year, and we didn't, and we really sucked. So I mean, I had to, eat my words. But the right thing to do is to play him. Whether I'm wrong or right, whether they play him or they don't play him, the right thing to do is play Jalen Hurts, to play that offensive line, at least for a quarter, at least.
Oh, you want a full quarter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I'd love that.
Quarter.
So you mentioned Pat Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
And I'll give you the quote from Andy Reid, where he talked about why he's sticking to his guns. This is from the Red Zone. Andy Reid stuck to his guns on preseason routine during the first 2 games, but there may be a departure in the norm from week 3. So, look, this is the difference of if you can build up week 1, week 2, you don't necessarily need to be out there week 3. And this is the clarification. If Jalen Hurts played 2 to 3 series week 1, if Jalen Hurts played a quarter and a half week 2, we're not having this conversation. If Nick, I would still like him to be out there for a series or so, but it's not this conversation that's taking over the show.
Right.
So, it doesn't have an urgency like you kind of are putting on it now, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And, and I'm reading Dom Lewis's he's saying that they're gonna suck. Well, I mean, the whole division sucks. So maybe they suck a little less than the Giants, or suck a little less than the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying?
And get off to the right foot. I mean, look, Atlanta, I know it's Atlanta, but win that game and then talk about the next 3. Look, this is what Reid had to say. Quote, "We'll see how it goes. He got quite a few snaps, 33 snaps or so the last game." That's week 2.
Right.
With a lot of coaches around the league resting their starters and star players during the preseason, Reid's strategy seems a bit old school. He explained his philosophy for playing Mahomes during the preseason. So this is a guy who is as, if not more successful in the NFL than anybody outside of Bill Belichick, and just comes off back-to-back Super Bowls, winning one, of course. This is the quote. "Well, I think it's good." Now, think about this. I'm going to have some fun here, if you're okay with this. And I'm going to apply this to the Eagles. So instead of Pat, you're going to hear Jalen. And instead of Chad, you'll hear Flacco. So I just want you to understand the mentality of what this would sound like if it came from Sirianni. Well, I think it's good for Hurts, but I also think it's good for the offensive line. It's important for Hurts to see how that's going to work and get a feel for them and for them to get a feel for him. So we've got some young guys. That's why I left them in with Flacco so they could get a little more extended work there. Now, that's really about Pat Mahomes, Chad Henne, and the offensive line. But if Andy Reid is making this point that Barrett has talked about and others who have played in the league have talked about, so important. Barrett played the position,
right,
the offensive line, and explaining how important it is for that connection. What more can you argue with if one, if not the most successful head coach, at least recently in the NFL, is doing this?
Bro, put it like this. In my experience of being in the NFL, I played with numerous quarterbacks. I played with guys that are dual threats. I played with guys that are drop back quarterbacks. And you have to block a different way for each guy. Each guy is different, according to, what their talents are, what their skill set is. Blocking for Randall, man, you could block everybody perfect with Randall. Have the guys in the perfect circle, and he just runs and runs right into your guy, and that's a sack for you. Or you can go out there and not even touch a guy like Derek Thomas with him, and he evades the rush and throws a bomb for like 60 yards. Right. It really depends on your quarterback. You know what I'm saying? It's just random, right?
Yeah.
So, but then I also played with a guy like Ben. Ben would hold the ball for 5 seconds. So you knew you had to block extra for him. Right. But then I played with guys like Coy Detmer and his brother, Ty Detmer. They got the ball out so fast because they didn't want to get hit.
Right.
So I played for them all. So you have to figure out how this quarterback, plays. Because, all right, for instance, when Ben played, Ben always stepped to his right. He faded. He stepped to his right, but he always faded, just in the pocket to his left. He always faded to his left. That's something you pick on during game type situation. Right. So Russ Grimm, one of the original Hogs, was my offensive line coach with the Steelers. We knew that Ben, and we would say it in film time, and we would say it in practice time. You know that he's going to step right, but he's going to fade to his left throughout the play. He's fading to his left. He has comfortability with Smith there, Marvell Smith. He's going to fade when he pass in his pass protection to the left. So you have to be stronger and on the left side to make sure that he doesn't, get backed up into you. You only learn that during game type situation.
Right.
That's the only way you learn it.
So I got a question real quick, and let's talk about this when we get back, because we have to take a quick break around the board here for both the stream and Sports Map. But just think about this. Don't answer it yet, Barrett and Harry. Right. But think about this. Does practice only with what we talked about, the red jersey, no contact, all the no real threat or fear, if you will, of contact, does that or can that develop bad habits like holding on to the football too long? Just think about that. Right? Just think about that, because we don't want this kid to do what he did last year, including Carson as well. All right, we're back in 3. It's the middle.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.